When Larry Bird and Caitlin Clark came together to make an announcement, it was a sports moment that shook the ground, even for those who aren't ardent followers of basketball. Both giants in their own right, Bird and Clark have a way of turning heads. Larry Bird, an NBA legend with a legacy embedded in grit and skill, represents old-school basketball like few others. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has taken the collegiate level by storm, dazzling audiences with her uncanny shooting range and court vision. What was this big announcement? While specifics remained under wraps to increase the buzz, the news of the two teaming up hinted at something monumental. Bird's reserved demeanor, combined with Clark's confident energy, was bound to create a stir, and the basketball world was primed and ready. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. The announcement wasn't about a single game or a one-off event. It was about a project that reflected the passion and dedication of two athletes who never let up, no matter the odds. Bird, whose style was straightforward yet ruthlessly effective, never pretended to be anything but himself on the court. His play was as blunt as his talk. You knew where you stood with Bird, and you definitely knew where the scoreboard stood. Clark, though from a new era, has mirrored that same unapologetic fire. She's not shy about taking deep threes, and her playing style often leaves commentators scrambling for new superlatives. This project, whatever it was, had all the hallmarks of something that would go beyond simply putting points on the board. Fans speculated about what Bird and Clark might be planning. A mentorship program, a community initiative, maybe something entirely fresh that would bridge Bird's old-school fundamentals with Clark's boundary-pushing modern game. The pairing, unexpected yet oddly fitting, had everyone guessing. Bird with his quiet, no-nonsense demeanor, and Clark, whose play exudes a contagious confidence, were an intriguing match. Together, they had the chance to inspire a new generation, not through showmanship, but through a shared love for the game. As they took the stage, Bird, never one to overdo his words, kept his speech tight. He didn't offer flourishes or grand gestures. He's the kind of guy who could probably announce a new moon landing and still manage to sound like he's asking for someone to pass the salt. His humor, subtle but sharp, kept things grounded. If you listened closely, you could catch his dry wit, especially when he ribbed Clark about her range, slyly remarking that maybe she'd make his job easier if they had three-point lines in his day that went back as far as hers. Clark, smiling but taking it in stride, had her chance to return the banter, reminding everyone that Bird's legacy was a big part of why she got into basketball. Clark's announcement, delivered with her usual confidence, hinted at the larger impact they hoped to achieve together. She was unfiltered yet clear, reminding the audience why she's not just another player. She's a new kind of competitor. She spoke about her admiration for Bird's relentless work ethic, emphasizing that while styles may evolve, certain values in the game stay the same. Her respect for Bird's career was apparent, and in a way, it looked like she wanted to take some of that legacy forward, bring it into her generation. It was like watching two artists talk about their craft, each understanding the other's brushstrokes, even if they paint in different colors. Larry Bird's face may have been as expressionless as always, but he seemed genuinely proud. Here was this young talent who, like him, didn't play for the cameras, but for the love of the game. For Bird, it wasn't about finding someone to pass the torch to per se. Bird wasn't really into ceremonial gestures. He once said he wasn't interested in being called the greatest or the best. He just wanted to win. But here, standing next to Clark, it felt as if he'd found someone who shared that relentless drive. Watching them was like seeing two sides of a coin, one side polished by experience, the other still bright with possibility, yet somehow fitting together seamlessly. Clark, already a star, didn't just look up to Bird. She seemed to see something of herself in him. Her passion for pushing boundaries was grounded in fundamentals, much like Bird's game. When they spoke, it was clear this wasn't just a gimmick. Bird had no patience for frivolity, and Clark, as it turns out, shared that. They hinted that their announcement was about something bigger than the two of them. While basketball was the foundation, this project seemed built to impact young players, maybe even entire communities, in ways that go beyond the court. It was a collaboration that felt authentic, something grounded in the real grit and glory of the sport. As the event continued, the crowd watched, captivated. Bird, ever understated, kept his answers brief, almost blunt. He was serious about whatever he and Clark were planning, and though he didn't give it all away, you could tell he was in it. Clark, in her element, filled in the blanks where Bird left off, with an energy that balanced his grounded presence. She spoke of her journey, of the challenges young athletes face today, and of the relentless pressure to perform. Clark wasn't just making a name for herself. She wanted to carve out a path for the next generation, and Bird, it seemed, was happy to help lay down the bricks. Humor peeked out every now and then, like when Bird joked about the number of shots Clark takes from half-court, adding that if he'd attempted half of those in his day, his coach would have benched him immediately. Clark, undeterred, shot back that Bird could have used a few more three-point attempts. The audience chuckled, catching glimpses of their easy camaraderie. It was clear that beyond their serious mission, they were enjoying the collaboration. Both understood the game as something that can't be boxed in, each making it clear that their styles may differ, but their goals aligned. This announcement felt less like a presentation and more like an invitation. Bird and Clark weren't just pitching an idea. They were sharing a vision, a piece of their hearts for the game. They were laying out a roadmap, hoping others would see the value of resilience and integrity, values that both have stood for in their careers. What Bird did in the NBA and what Clark is doing now are cut from the same cloth, and this project was a natural extension of that fabric. As they spoke, it was as if a torch was being shared, not passed, illuminating a path for those who might come after them. As the lights dimmed and the last murmurs of the event began to fade, there was a sense that this announcement marked a pivotal moment. It wasn't just about one night or a publicity stunt. This was Bird and Clark planting a seed. For Bird, whose own journey had been paved with grit rather than glamour, this project felt like a way to give back to the game that made him a legend. He's always been one to shy away from the spotlight unless it served a real purpose. Standing alongside Clark, Bird looked ready to invest not just his name, but his wisdom, a lifetime of lessons learned from hardwood battles and unrelenting dedication. Clark, by contrast, was visibly energized, ready to take what Bird had given the game and give it a new edge. For her, this wasn't merely mentorship or admiration. It was a chance to build something enduring, to take Bird's legacy and amplify it in ways that resonate with young athletes today. Her focus wasn't solely on herself, but on the countless kids who look up to her, who maybe even see themselves in her. With Bird as her partner in this journey, Clark had her sights set on creating something transformative. Whether that meant developing training programs, offering scholarships, or even setting up workshops where young players could meet their heroes and hear directly from those who've walked the path. The potential impact loomed large. For those watching, it was easy to imagine future players being shaped by Bird's relentless work ethic and Clark's fearless approach to the game. They weren't just creating another basketball camp or releasing branded content. They were setting up a foundation of values, an ethos built on toughness, perseverance, and authenticity. Bird and Clark, despite their different eras, had managed to bridge a generational gap, connecting basketball's storied past with its dynamic present. As the stage emptied, one thing was clear. Bird and Clark hadn't just made an announcement. They'd thrown down a challenge, not just for young athletes but for themselves. Together they were determined to leave an indelible mark on the sport they both loved. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.